There are days when this show is not difficult to put together, but it's a task. It's a to dig up stuff, especially that we haven't covered before. A big problem with right-wing talking points is not only are they repetitive, but they don't give up on the old ones even when they pass. I'm getting okay, all right, alert box is messing with me. Hold on one second. I think it's an update in the thing, which will be there we go. Yeah, we got that. It's from somewhere. I'm gonna have to hunt it down. There's a clinkly dinkly sound in there somewhere, and by golly, I won't have it. I'm gonna have to shut that page, and that'll do it. All right. Anyways, there's so much, as far as talking points that we've buried. Quite frankly, I've been through them already. We've done them so many times, and especially the ones that are supposedly, are the crux of a lot of the baseline arguments that I'm making sure I have one other video too. There was one I was looking for that I'll get to. Okay. There are just days when it's hard to find new stuff, quite frankly, but the search of Mar-a-Lago has given us all kinds of special excuses from the right. And let's talk about Rudy. Exactly. Let's go back through his talking points again. Now, some of these things I can't help but take personally. I have been, as you know, recently blocked by Dan Bongholio at Fox News. I'm as depressed about it as you guys are. And I didn't want to have a sock puppet account so that I can peek around corners. But damn it, I may have to with this clip. And also the sort of standard by which these folks are blocking me seems to put the lie on the idea that somehow these dipshits that keep saying that we are the sensitive ones. I thought I was the sensitive one, right? Aren't I supposed to be the easily owned lib in this situation? Aren't you owning this lib by having me? Is it too much to ask? How am I ever going to be owned as a lib if I can't hear all the stupid things you're saying? Well, I know what you're thinking. Hal, you'll just have to go watch parts of their show. This is, I don't know what the fuck this graphic is. To me, this basically sums up the anti-abortion message on the right now about their perception. Yeah, why do you never feel owned? I know. I even want to be pwned once in a while, and it never happens. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like a kink that I have or something. I can live without it. But in this particular case, Dan Bongholio, we'll get into this. The title of this is Dan Bongholio. They treat us like little children all the time. They treat us like suffer the little children unto him. And it's true. So we do treat them like little children, especially when they're driving around DC, clogging up traffic to protest vaccine because they don't want to get their shot. I can actually share something with them in this regard, because when I was a kid, we had to get vaccinated at school. At my elementary school, they had somebody come and vaccinate all of us, and we all had to get a shot. And I didn't want to get a needle in my arm. And catching me was like a squirrel was loose in the house. They eventually got me, but it was ugly. And it involves me, going over and under desks. I mean, it was like a miniature second grade version of me doing parkour. So I get it. You don't want your shot? That's something I got over as a grown up. As a matter of fact, I now enjoy the benefits of acupuncture. That's true. Doesn't bug me at all. As a matter of fact, my acupuncturist always kids me because I use the big, thick needles. At some point, she's going to have to use bass guitar strings on me. So it doesn't bother me at all. But back then, boy, did it when I was a child. And apparently, I guess Bongholio is still chafing. Let's find out. By the way, welcome, settle in. Don't forget, you can support the show by subscribing on whatever, I don't discriminate, wherever you are. There's a follow button or a like or subscribe or thumbs button or a hey, good job or something wherever you're watching. And if you're watching through a VPN from Russia, you can still use the Venmo. You just have to set up an account in the Caymans. I don't know how it works, but yeah, give it a try. All right, here we go. This is Dan Bongholio. They treat us like little children all the time.
No, I mean infants.
Hold on 1 second.
You know, I'm tired of the government treating us like infants, folks. No, I mean infants, like actual infants. You know.
Okay, like actual infants. So I don't know where he lives, and I don't know what kind of taxes he pays, but if he has someone coming by and wiping his ass 3 times a day, I feel cheated. Is somebody, honest to God,
infants that rely on mommy and daddy for everything.
No, I have no tattoos. That is true, Regina.
You got to change their diapers. You got to feed them and all that stuff. Infants don't do anything by themselves because they can't. You leave an infant, it's not going to survive.
Oh, thanks. Excellent parenting tips. In case anybody was wondering, asked and answered.
The government thinks we're infants, though.
No, they really don't.
Oh, and we're not. I'm 47. I was an infant a long time ago.
Depends on your definition of long time. Lunch, maybe? And I'm older than this guy? I'm 6 years older than him. Oh, you can't hear Bongholio? Is he too quiet? Hold on. I will turn it up a little bit.
Why am I bringing this up today? So I was thinking of the monologue this week, and I got to thinking, yes.
I was thinking of the monologue this week. It's nice when you have a TV show only on 1 day a week.
Government treats us like little children all the time.
Yeah, they don't, though.
And it's not just an act, folks, of misfeasance. It's an act of malfeasance.
I see. Misfeasance? By the way, I little known fact, I dated misfeasance 2008, and it was a mistake on my part.
In other words, it's not just that government's not helping, it's that it's actively screwing up your life.
So that's how you treat. So this man is presumably a father, and his idea of how you treat an infant is screw up their life. By what? Helping them not die, I guess? Is that where this is going? Good Lord.
You know, here's the difference, right? Misfeasance is someone falls in front of you on the sidewalk and you don't help them up. That's bad, right? You know what malfeasance is?
You trip them.
They go to get up and you punch them in the face. See, that's government.
No, it isn't. Unless you're talking about, of course, the governor of Mississippi, because that guy just declared an emergency in Mississippi and sent him a bunch of funds and a bunch of support. But the governor is riding the brake.
Folks, when the government makes a decision for you, whether about your health care, your education, your taxes, your money, where you can travel, what kind of car you can buy, you don't.
It literally makes none of those decisions for you. Seriously, let's run through these things again. Just seriously. I mean, this is.
Look, and you don't help them up. That's bad, right? You know what malfeasance is? They go to get up and you punch them in the face. See, that's government. Folks, when the government makes a decision for you, whether about your health care.
Okay, the government doesn't make a decision for you about your health care. You could, for example, go without being vaccinated. You just couldn't do it as a representative of the federal government because the government's not in the business of intentionally spreading a contagion. You didn't have to get the shot if you want to fucking stay home. But if you're going to interact with everybody else, especially if you have a federal job, you can't do it. And restaurants, if they became responsible at all, most of them, the decision to like not allow unvaxxed people in or mask mandates inside businesses were zoning. They were mayors and stuff. It wasn't a federal mandate.
Your education,
your education makes no decision on your fucking education. If you don't like the elementary school, in theory, you can move. There is no point where the government is saying you have been assigned to this particular elementary school for your fucking life. you can't go anywhere else. It's, again, this is all zoning and where you live nearby. It's why you have blanket standards on education in an area.
Taxes, your money.
Your taxes and your money. Okay, so it doesn't decide what taxes you ultimately pay. It decides the percentage. You also have a say in that through your representatives.
Where you can travel, what kind of...
Where you can travel. Again, only if you are actually under house arrest or you're on parole. Otherwise, fuck off. What do you mean where you can travel?
A car you can buy.
What kind of car you buy? Again, still no. If you want to buy a 57 fucking Chevy, you can buy it. If you want a new car that's built the same as a 57 Chevy, I don't know, you're insane. But also, then make it yourself. The government will not stop you from bootstrapping your own 57 Chevy from scratch. But there is no reason why we have to arrest our technological advancement because you like a car that goes vroom, vroom.
You don't make that decision yourself.
Yes, you do. On all of those, you are 90% of the decision straight out of the gate. The rest is a matter of convenience or geography, just where you live.
That's not misfeasance, it's malfeasance.
That's just stupid. No, it isn't malfeasance. The government is not forcing. Nobody is coming to somebody in fucking Ohio and going, I'm sorry, but according to the mandate of the People's Party, you must send your children to elementary school in Oklahoma at a state facility. Get the fuck out of here. This asshole's acting like we're all Uyghurs in China.
Because they stole from you.
They stole from you. You mean because we all pay taxes? Because all of our services and the things we all take for granted are paid for with those taxes?
They stole from you the opportunity.
How? How does the government steal your opportunity? Unless, I guess, it's the opportunity to be hit by a train. God damn it. Why do they keep putting down those gates on either sides of the fucking tracks? They are stealing my opportunity to have a near miss and watch my car get nailed by a commuter train.
The opportunity to make your own money, to make...
Yeah, dude, go for it. Draw your own fucking money. What do you mean to make your own money? Honestly, what the fuck is this guy talking about? What?
Stole from you the opportunity to make your own money, to make your own healthcare decisions, to choose.
You can make your own fucking healthcare decisions, I guess, except if you're a woman and you want the right to choose. You got me there. Got it under the wire. Also, I think physicians-assisted suicide, for the most part, is out. Also, ivermectin or fucking horse paste up the ass to cure something that it won't actually cure, so that you can go, I don't need to get a shot. I'll clog up the fucking hospital 2 times. I'll get COVID and take up a bed, and then if I manage to survive, I'll get fucking I'll come back for ivermectin poisoning.
Choose where your kids go to school. They stole from you. That's a thief.
These thieving bastards. And the only way you can defend it is get in a rowboat and row out into the middle of the ocean and find an island and start from scratch. What the fuck? You do realize this asshole is in an air-conditioned studio in New York. I think he's in New York, right?
They've stolen from you.
They stole it. They made you live in a country with a functioning economy, and traffic lights steal from you. I would not have been late if I could drive on the sidewalk. They stole the opportunity. What the fuck?
You know, just a quick story.
Okay, but they'd better explain this, because Jesus Christ, we're a minute and a half into this, and I honestly don't know what the fuck you're on about.
Someone very close to me called me this week. Doesn't matter who, but
yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does matter who. I'm gonna guess it's Stu from Glenn Beck's show. We'll just fill it in that this was Stu calling you.
I promise you, unlike a Joe Biden story, this is real.
Okay, you know what? Then don't tell me who it was.
and they were crying, and it really bothered me, and it dug at me, and I
Why are people calling you crying?
desperately wanted to fix her problem.
Oh, it was a her. Sorry. Okay, I'm still going with Stu from Lineback.
But I only would have been fixing the problem for me, not for her, because
Okay, I'm going to need more details. What?
if I did it, I would have stolen from her the opportunity to figure it out.
I see. So one of his children called crying because they had a problem, and he refused to help them and went, "It's life lesson time." Click. Gotcha.
That's what government is stealing from you.
What? Oh, I see. By fixing the water supply in your town, a task you are, as an individual, completely incapable of dealing with on your own, they're stealing the opportunity for you to harden your digestive tract against toxic water. I feel so denied of my death on the Oregon Trail from dysentery.
By treating every one of you like infant children. They want,
as opposed to adult children, like the staff and talent at Fox.
to make every decision from cradle to grave. I've talked about this before.
Yeah, but this is the first time I'm seeing it. I don't watch your shit all the time, and it doesn't even make sense now. So if this is your refined version of this argument, we're all in for a long night.
Remember the segment we did on our show about Barack Obama's Life of Julia, where every single component of Julia's life, there's some government intervention to make decisions for them? Here, take a look.
Okay, so it's an excuse. He didn't write his monologue again, so he just wants to rehash a talking point. Hey!
Remember President Obama's embarrassing PR campaign? Remember this one in 2012 called The Life of Julia? Told the story of this woman from the childhood on, completely dependent on government.
Hold on. I'll bring up the Life of Julia images. Let's see. This is, let me see if I can find it. Okay. Image licenses expired. Okay. Doink. Let's see if I can find the this is the so this is take a look at Obama's help one woman. Okay, so under President Obama, Julie is enrolled in a Head Start program to help her get ready for school. Because of steps President Obama has taken to improve programs like this, when Julia joins thousands of students across the country who will start kindergarten ready to learn and succeed. Under Mitt Romney, they don't want to do that. Okay, so Head Start, better than no Head Start. This is, and then the next one is, by the way, she didn't have to go to Head Start. This is a program they can take if they want. Parents can put you in Head Start. It is not forced enrollment, for the record. Oh, God. All right, next up. Julia takes the SAT and is on track to start a college application. Her high school is part of the Race to the Top program implemented by President Obama. Their new college and career-ready standards mean Julia can take the classes she needs to do well. So they basically help you, guide you into higher education. There's a standard they set to help that, like, doesn't choose your fucking major for you, doesn't make you go to college. It doesn't go, but I want to go to a trade school and learn to be a welder. What is this, flash dance? Get in the fucking class and learn lesbian dance history. So stupid. Love you guys too. Okay, the next one. Okay, under President Obama, as she prepares for her first semester in college, Julie and her family qualify President Obama's American Opportunity Tax Credit, worth up to $10,000 for 4 years. Also, as one of millions of students who received a Pell Grant to help put college education within reach. Okay, so this is funds available to build a workforce of smarter, technologically savvy workers for the future. Like it's like this is a fucking. And do you have to take it? Cradle to grave? Why? Why isn't Julia nailed to a cross during this and all these slides? This is when she's 18. Then she moves on to the next piece. Okay. Then under President Obama, during college, Julia undergoes surgery. Is thankful to be covered by her insurance due to a provision in healthcare reform that lets her stay on her. Okay. So she needs healthcare, and instead of going broke while she's in college, she benefits from the ACA. Okay. I mean, this is how it goes on. It's like at each stage in your life, there's something there to benefit you. And the panic on that, I mean, this makes total fucking sense.
Government programs to live her life as a devoted Democrat from start to finish. Of course, it was all propaganda.
No, it wasn't. People used that money to go to college. People didn't go broke because they were still on their parents' insurance. Head Start helps. What the fuck? How is it just? I mean, the pictures are cute.
Folks, infants, they need parents to survive. Free citizens of the United States do not need government to...
Then don't take it, fucko. Pay full fare for insurance or wear a fucking medal around your neck that says do not resuscitate. Unless I have enough cash on me for surgery, do not pull me out from under this burning car. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like this asshole lives in the Wild West. I'm out here on the frontier. I'm shooting moose for breakfast. Shut the fuck up.
Survive. There's a difference. Government creates centralized power.
No, it doesn't. We have a republic for a fucking reason. It's not centralized. We don't have the Chinese fucking government. We don't have the Russian fucking government. We have three main branches in the federal government alone, and a series of divisions where even the Department of Justice is separate in its decisions from the administrative state. We have governors and circuit courts amongst that. Even as frustrating as it is, the United States is rife with decentralized power.
It seeks control over people.
No, it doesn't. It's not control if it's enticing. It's like, again, if you want to talk this into, like, this is the government treating you like children, at most there's an element of, I'll give you this piece of candy if you brush your teeth. Actually, it's more like, if you brush your teeth, I'll pay for the toothpaste. God damn, dude.
And in exchange, some people who really don't need it claim to want it because they don't want to take responsibility over their whole lives.
Claim to want it? What do you mean claim to want it? Oh, God, this is... They claim to want help from the government, even though they don't, just because they want to be spanked by the government. I don't know. This is getting a little pervy. It's getting a little pervy.
If people believe they can govern them,
you mean like MTG's PPP loans?
Themselves, and big government has a major problem. That's why they don't like that whole thing.
Wait, say that again.
Responsibility over their whole lives. If people believe they can govern themselves, and big government has a major problem. That's
no, it doesn't. I'll tell you what. The key to smaller government is self-policing of people. I mean, ultimately, if we could trust people to have a bunch of guns and none of them popped off at fucking school or then honestly, we wouldn't need the ATF.
Why they don't like that whole thing. Free thought. That's why they love censorship.
First of all, they don't love censorship. We have not experienced censorship in this fucking country. We have not. The president, like the former president losing his fucking Twitter account when he can tour around the fucking country talking into a microphone and he can record all of his thoughts and post it on a fucking website if he wants to. That's not censorship.
Big government and the politicians who run it treat citizens like infants. Think about it. Completely.
I'm trying to think about it, and every time you talk, I think you're the only infant in the designated area in this conversation. They don't. What the fuck are you talking about? Having organizational standards for services and tax collection and shit like that is not infantilizing adults. It's having a fucking system. That's like saying the generals in a military infantilize the troops when they yell at them, or the red light infantilizes. I know when it's safe to go through a light. Jesus Christ.
Relying on big daddy and big mommy government. We see it everywhere.
Do we? Yes, we see it everywhere. Stupid OSHA.
The Biden administration acts like we're little children.
You keep saying that. Give an example other than your own whingy, stupid take.
Who can't think or act for ourselves.
Well, they might have something on you there.
They need this.
No, they don't. Do you know how many things we could get done if we didn't have to do all the maintenance bullshit for toddler assholes who watch too much fucking, who like dive into QAnon Reddit threads?
The very definition of infantilism is, quote, an act or expression that indicates lack of maturity. Does that sound like how the Biden administration acts when it comes to solving real problems?
No. That's why they got a bipartisan gun reform bill and a bipartisan infrastructure package put through. That's why the rescue package and the CHIPS Act are all like adult shit. Does this motherfucker think the CHIPS Act was about potato chips? Ugh.
It's like they think we're too dumb and immature.
Then explain what the fuck you're talking about.
Sure, to figure out what's going on for us.
What's going on?
They treat us like infants. It's no different. Who are just supposed to accept, by the way, their blatant lies as truth as well. Well, like this, Jim.
Do you realize the bullet out of an AR-15 travels 5 times as rapidly as a bullet shot out of any other gun?
They talk to you like you're children.
Okay. This is so Biden he bungled that statistic or that standard when he spoke of it. It's 2 times as fast, and where they get it is from this, and the difference also in penetrative capability for an AR-15's bullet versus a handgun slug, which again, a handgun slug, especially if it's meant to be a person stopper, has most of the time, especially in like police guns and stuff, has a rounded front, not a piercing front. It's not made for armor piercing. And so the shape of the projectile matters. It also is meant to shred because you have limited rounds. So the idea is you have 6 bullets or 9 bullets or even 10 bullets. Each one, when it hits, should fucking go everywhere. Whereas a rifled bullet in an AR-15, the intention is to hit into a narrow field and to go straight through and out the other side. And so it's better with if someone's wearing armor or they're wearing Kevlar or that kind of stuff than a bullet, right? A regular handgun bullet. And so the idea is that it is the kinetic energy is twice as much, but it's 5 times more likely to go through stuff and hit you than a handgun bullet. This is kind of basically part and parcel to what he's talking about. It does, like, it's just a dick move. It's like the AR-14 statement.
5 times as fast. We're not infants, folks. Fairy tales don't work.
Yeah, we know they don't go 5 times as fast. We just know they're 5 times more likely to penetrate stuff you might hide behind in some cases, and that they're twice as fast. And so they're great if you want to shred a kid.
On us, unless you're liberal. Remember the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare? It was supposed to be the answer to getting uninsured Americans covered and bringing down health care costs.
24 million people got insurance that didn't have it previously.
We're going to fix it for you. Now, after more than a decade of big government help and the COVID health emergency keeping millions on the Medicaid and Medicare rolls, wouldn't you know it, the problems have gotten worse. Like I told you before, misfeasance, not malfeasance.
No, look, first of all, the Republicans have been running interference against the ACA from the beginning. There is no public option within it, which would also help fund it. They also got rid of the mandate, therefore undermining funding for it. That's the malfeasance part. You can have insurance of your very own, or you can use the ACA. But if you don't, there's got to be some kind of fee in there because you're the folks ultimately that and there's Medicare and Medicaid for people who are older or people who are poor. So nobody's getting shafted by this shit.
After Obamacare kicked millions off their private plans, what has two thumbs and got kicked off their plan? This guy, too. And after a worldwide pandemic, there's millions more people dependent on big government health care.
First of all, why the fuck did you get kicked off your health care plan? Fox doesn't provide one. Your radio station doesn't provide one. You're not an AFTRA.
Worked out great for big.
New report shows record 35 million people enrolled in coverage related to the Affordable Care Act with historic 21 million people enrolled in Medicaid expansion coverage. And yes, it was those 35 million people who can't afford it either through their business or some other, didn't have to bounce to fucking Cobra.
Government, didn't it? Not so great for you.
I don't, again, I'm not even sure what he thinks this actually says in the picture next to his head.
Even worse, healthcare costs are only going up. Wait, I thought the government was fixing that. It's because they think we're infants and they
expected to healthcare costs for retired Americans expected to surge next year. They're going, okay. Shall we look at Fox Business? Retired There you go. This is healthcare costs for retired Americans are expected to surge next year. Dear God. Megan Haney, May 16th this year. Medicare Part D premiums are soaring, pushing healthcare costs higher. A new estimate from Fidelity Investment released on Monday shows that the average 65-year-old couple retiring this year can expect to spend an average of $315,000 in healthcare and other related medical expenses during their retirement, i.e. throughout the rest of their fucking lives. God willing, 25 years or longer. That's a sharp, including the end of their life care, which is when most of the costs go up. That's a sharp increase from last year when Fidelity projected that most retired couples would spend up to an average of $300,000 a year. Yes, it's up $15,000 over 25 to 30 years, judging on the improvements in medical services that will actually keep you alive longer. Fucko, if you missed COVID and you survived, you're going to live a lot longer than people who died before COVID of old age. Yeah, it's not $315,000 a year. It's literally, it says during their retirement. Okay, so obviously, this is like Bongino saying, why don't people go back to work? If they're going to spend that much in your retirement, you better go back to work or you're going to die. Shut the fuck up.
They force us to be completely reliant on big government. They control.
Again, why the fuck how is this, what the fuck does this have to do with big government at all? This is the actual costs of medical services you are going to get or need over the course of your life, arguably in this country, from private sources, from hospitals, from Much of the increase this year stems from steeper Medicare Part B premiums for Americans 65 and older. Medicare imposed a 14.5% increase on premiums Part B outpatient coverage in 2022, a record high and nearly double that of the national inflation rate of 8.3. On a monthly basis, retirees and older Americans are paying $170 for Medicare Part B premiums, beg your pardon, an amount that is typically deducted directly from Social Security checks. But Americans don't necessarily expect to spend so much on healthcare and retirement and often fail to allocate enough money. Fidelity found couples retiring this year and anticipating spending just $41,000 a year, $41,000 on medical expenses, well below the $315,000 average when surveyed. What? During their retirement. Nobody expects the average person. If somebody gets fucking certain kinds of cancer, their costs are $2, $6, $3 million, whatever the fuck. If they have a brain tumor, if they have a recurring spinal issue, whatever, that jacks the number up. This is about their expectations. When survey participants were informed of the much higher figure, they were alarmed and did not feel prepared to cover those costs during retirement, you think. Even more concerning is that 2/3 of the survey respondents actually believe they would need less than $25,000 to pay for healthcare related expenses during their retirement. Part of it is because they thought you were talking about what their out-of-pocket costs to go with Medicare Part B and all that stuff is, not the actual stuff they'd have to pay for if they become sick. Senior Citizens League, a nonpartisan group that focuses on issues related to older Americans, estimate as recently as Social Security recipients have lost 40% of their buying power since 2000 as a result of inflation. That's the deepest loss in buying power since the beginning of the study in 2010. This is just about how people fucking feel. They're jealous that the middle and working poor are going to get some relief. Ear the rich. I think you mean eat the rich. There's not enough of them to go around.
Healthcare, they control everything. Then there's a student loan debacle I covered last week, folks. It got me thinking about this monologue.
Oh, yeah? Because forgiving $10,000, which is what he ran on and how he got elected, partly, living up to that promise, which has been around for years, that's infantilizing people.
Higher education's only gotten more expensive since the Department of Education got involved and started giving out Pell Grants in 1972. Well, some help, right? Now, 50 years later, it could cost taxpayers up to $1 trillion to pay off the forgiveness of these student loans.
No, just money that doesn't go out.
Again, folks, they think we're infants. We believe in fairy tale money and monopoly money. I mean, who needs big government to make decisions for us? You don't.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Thanks. I feel way to believe in me. It's great. You're right. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't need government to tell me what side of the yellow line to drive on in the freeway. You're right.
Don't forget about education either. During the pandemic, parents pulled their kids from public schools in droves. They started voting for school choice and a voucher system so parents could take back control, things infants don't have. Well, how did the big government goons over at DOJ respond? They labeled parents who protested this stuff as, domestic terrorists.
No, they didn't. Nobody who protested was labeled a domestic terrorist. If you phoned in a bomb threat or threatened the life of a vice principal that you don't like at your school, then that's domestic terrorism. It's politically motivated violence and the threats of politically motivated violence.
Stuff. You know how that works. Again, they want us to be infants. But no.
Again, you repeat this talking point like you're actually making a fucking point. He's looking at the clock at this point. Bongino does not prep for his show the way he's supposed to. He thinks about something for a second. They discuss it before the show, and then he freewheels it. He doesn't care.
Power to make our own decisions. You may say, Dan, you're overreacting.
No, I don't think you're overreacting. I think you're dumb. I think you're misunderstanding, or maybe you're malunderstanding.
America, we're free to do what we want. You'd be wrong about that too. You're really not. How about the big government stooge over in California, Gavin Newsom, hair product guy? He thinks he should.
He is handsome. It's annoying.
Choose what kind of car you buy. And more than a dozen other states actually agree with him. Yeah, this is from The Hill, not a right-leaning outfit, by the way. Several states.
Several states will follow California's lead in banning Several states will follow California's lead in banning gas-powered car sales by 2035. California's decision to ban new gas-powered car sales by 2025 sheds light on similar initiatives introduced in other states. I thought this was all Captain Hair Products' idea. Traffic-related greenhouse gas emissions account for a large portion of the total U.S. emissions. In an effort to cut down on pollutant and move away from reliance on fossil fuels, states and car companies alike are throwing their weight behind an electric vehicle revolution. Some states even plan to offer rebates for residents who purchase new electric cars. In the wake of California announcing last week that it will ban sales of all gas-powered cars by 2035, several states have announced similar plans. The Clean Air Act of grants California the ability to impose emission standards on new vehicles that are stricter than those at the national level. States' rights. And which other states can then follow. As long as state standards are identical to California's, they are permitted to adopt them without government approval. This week, the state of Virginia revealed it is bound by a 2021 state law to also phase out gas-powered cars by 2035. However, Attorney General Jason Miyares' office said in a statement it hopes the state repeals the law so Virginians are not bound by California's policies. A total of 15 states have backed California's zero emissions vehicle requirements, while Washington, Oregon, Massachusetts, and New York have taken steps to follow suit. Similar to Virginia, both Massachusetts and Washington have so-called trigger laws in place. Where have we heard that before? In Washington, the 2020 law is tied to California's emissions regulation, meaning whenever the Golden State tightens energy regulations, Washington will as well. Washington State, of course, not D.C. A bill in Massachusetts said it will follow suit if California bans gas-powered vehicles, meaning its Department of Environmental Protection is now required to write regulations for the 2035 deadline. This bill also increases rebates for residents who purchase new electric vehicles. In Oregon, the state's Department of Environmental Quality announced it is looking to adopt the ban, which would mandate all new light-duty vehicles sales must be transitioned to zero emissions by 2035. Okay, zero emissions is not quite the same as full electric. There's a lot of, there's wiggle room in that, but basically. Last year, a New York bill was signed into law by Kathy Hochul, who aims to have all passenger cars and trucks sold in the state be zero emissions by 2035. For medium-duty and heavy-duty vehicles, the deadline is 2045. You can always buy a used one, though. You know what? Some states are banning 3G phone towers, too.
Follow California's lead in banning gas-powered car sales by 2035. Want to buy a gas-powered truck? Sorry, out of luck there, too. You want to buy an electric-powered truck? Here's the Daily Wire. Biden's inflation bill made $7,500 electric vehicle tax credits. Ford and GM just raised their prices by the same amount.
Those bastard corporations. He's so sick of them. This is big government ruining everything by trying to help. It's misfeasance. It's mousefeasance.
Awfully convenient, right? So how's the big government making decisions things working out for you? Well,
as a California citizen and a Nevada resident, depending on where you are, and being somebody who travels a lot, I'm a big fan of, let's just call it the FAA. Huge government. As a matter of fact, the world's airplane system is based on the FAA standard. The FAA controls all flights, all airplanes in the sky and tracks every single one. It's a huge government endeavor, without which it's 9/11 every fucking day.
Really not great, America. Not only does this administration act like we're children, they talk to us like we were kids, too. They lie right to our face. Take a listen.
If somebody walks into Texas or Arizona unvaccinated, they're allowed to stay. Why?
But that's not how it works. But that's not. It's not like somebody walks over and that's not. It is not that simple.
Yeah, okay, they're cutting it down. She's basically saying they don't get to walk in and just fucking stay. And it's not like they're not getting tested for stuff or being, when they are caught, isolated from people. It's not like we're not vaccinating CPB.
It's not just that people are walking across the border.
Here's video. That is how it works. You can see with your own eyes. Do they think we're kids?
They're not walking across the border. They're being let in through a gate at Eagle Pass, and they will be processed. In that, these guys, unless you're saying that these CPB agents, and I guess a couple of these guys are Abbott's, Operation Lone Star National Guard troops, those guys are just letting immigrants run wild throughout the country. And if so, call them out. Call them, go up and scream at them, right? This is, these folks will be processed. They will be tested. It's not like somebody comes in and they go, hey, excuse me, do you have COVID? No. Do you have COVID? Yes, I do. Come on in. Just walk right in. Your automatic citizenship. Anybody with COVID gets to walk right in.
People walking across the border. They think we believe in fairy tales, like infants.
Again, you're a moron. That's not at all what's happening here. These people are being let in through a gate and they are being processed in groups. They don't automatically get to stay. These people are not tested for COVID and then released into the fucking country.
Border policy, their open border policy, like everything else.
It's not an open border policy. If there was an open border policy, what are those fucking guys doing there? Why did they have a gate at all? And why are you having to loop the fucking footage to make it look like it's nonstop?
Government touches only makes the crisis worse. I speak for, I think, myself and millions of others, tens of millions of other conservative adults out there when I say this to big government. And listen up. Please stop helping. We don't need you. We can fix these problems ourselves.
Okay, great. Well, head on down to Mississippi where the water system is fucked up and grab a shovel, prick. The fuck are you talking about? When's the last time you saw this dickhead or any of the other conservatives at Fox News clearing rubble? For real. Ugh. What do you talk like? Where's there been like Fox News today is covering a group of citizens who've decided they're going to make their own rural broadband. Fuck you, government. We're going to lay the lines ourselves. With what? A grant? Get out of here.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Okay, that's it. They treat us like children all the time. I think we've seen justification. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. That was Dan Bongholio, who has blocked me on Twitter. I don't know why. Just trying to help. I know what you're thinking. Stop helping. I can't. It's in my nature. It's just how I am. And having the dumbest take on the internet is his.